by the time she got home, she was able to eat with comfort, without any nausea the first time, and I couldn't even tell you how long. So it was honestly a lifesaver, for her, and that was just the beginning, um, of our journey really with you. My daughter was going through something doctors couldn't figure out. She couldn't hold any food down without vomiting. She was transferred from one children's hospital out in Aurora to another in, I think it was Central DuPage, where they had specialists. They got her to the point where she was able to hold down food before, in order to release her, but right when she got back home again, as soon as she ate, she started vomiting again, and I was getting scared, because the hospitals couldn't figure it out. And this is it's been something that she had been battling since she was a kid. The doctors told me that she had most likely had celiac, but we had her tested, it tested negative, so they told me to cut out dairy. She always had issues with, with certain foods, but it progressively got worse. She got older, up until the point where she couldn't eat without vomiting. So when you had contacted me, told me to check out your website, and I told you the symptoms, and you told me to bring her in, I was completely blown away. I have to say, when I brought her in, you were able to properly diagnose her within a matter of minutes, and a simple reset to her allergy to her digestive enzymes. Doing simple, like just a reset on the body to something the body doesn't recognize, was something I was unaware of before. I've come into your practice doing resets, even with my older one, balancing out the genes to schizophrenia. I thought that those kind of things were inherited, things that were incurable, because medical doctors tell us that those things are incurable. And that's just what we believe, because really we haven't found a cure or anything like that. But when we came in and balanced out our gene sets for the schizophrenia, specifically, you had mentioned her male A gene variation, set gene being off in her VDR. Being off her, anyways, her gene sets being imbalanced, you're doing a simple reset on the sets of genes. She went from almost having to repeat it her entire grade, failing every single subject, to next quarter facing every subject, and from there just took off into AP classes. So that in itself has been also a lifesaver. My youngest one, she had come back from a camping trip with my family, and when she came back, it hurt her to brush her hair, and I looked on the top of her head, and she had a sore that was swollen. I thought it was a little bit odd, and we keep an eye on it, but the next day she woke up with a high fever, and she was completely immobile. She couldn't move her entire body. She couldn't move anything. She was freaking out, calling me into her bedroom. I called you up to see if we can get her in, and you guys were able to take her right away. Her father drove in and had to carry her into your office, and you properly diagnosed her with it was an infection from a mosquito bite that her body didn't recognize, so she couldn't fight it off, and it had caused an infection in the brain. And so she was completely, it was like she was paralyzed, really, she couldn't move. You did a simple reset so that her body could recognize the infection, and we got homeopathics to heal her. But by the time she got home, she was running around like her little self, like bouncing all over outside playing. So fever gone. That was just by the time she got home. So that was really, really amazing. Honestly, I don't know what we would have done, because if her body didn't recognize the virus, I don't know that a medical doctor would have been able to properly see that or diagnose it even. With my older one, she recently had Holze virus from a spider bite that she'd gotten. She'd gotten so severe, though, that her kidneys were shutting down, urine turned orange, had trouble verbally communicating and even forming sentences, was extremely nauseous, had severe migraines to the point where she was crying. She didn't know what it was. We brought her in. You properly diagnosed her with Holze, but it was also something that her body didn't recognize, so natural remedies weren't working at all. And I did look it up, and it's something that the medical community says that there's no cure for, that they just treat either through intubation or through medication, but there's no cure for it. So just bringing her in to get a reset on that so that her body can recognize that to fight it off was amazing as well. By the time she got home, she had an appetite and her urine went back to yellow. I had endometriosis so bad that it hurt just to sit down. It got to the point where it hurt me to sit. It felt like somebody was cutting me on the inside with knives. It was that painful, and of course we're told that there's no cure for those things either, but through Chris, I needed a few rounds of remedies, but we were able to heal that as well, completely heal endometriosis. I was talking to some women who said that there is no cure for endometriosis and we're suffering, and I'm like, but there is a cure. I was cured. If I was cured, you can be cured too. They just have to have faith.